Have you ever wondered why spending time with people doesn't feel the same anymore? If that question stirred something inside you, you're far from alone. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s gradually pull back from social circles that once energized them. It's not because they've stopped caring. It's not because of bitterness, resentment, or apathy. Something within has simply changed, and more often than not, that inner shift is the result of clarity and wisdom, not fragility. In this video, we're exploring 6 deep and genuine reasons you may prefer distance now, even if you once thrived in lively groups. These aren't surface-level guesses. They're grounded in real experiences, quiet truths older adults often carry but rarely speak aloud. Some may surprise you, some may hit an emotional nerve, but as we move through each one, you'll likely gain a better understanding of yourself and more compassion for the space you've chosen. Stay with me until the end, because you'll see that choosing distance isn't something to feel guilty about. In many ways, it may be one of the most empowering decisions you've made. Let's begin. As the years pass, we gather more than moments, we gather wounds. Some are tiny scratches from small disagreements or misunderstandings. Others cut deeper, broken trust, being overlooked, opening your heart only to get hurt. And in later years, those old echoes become louder. You find yourself hesitating before letting people get too close, not from resentment, but because you finally accept that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Take Chloe, 81, once known for her warm weekend dinners filled with laughter and chatter. Over time, friends drifted away. One betrayed her trust, another disappeared after her husband died. No dramatic breakup, just a gradual string of quiet disappointments. Now she'd rather spend her evenings in peace than sit through forced conversations. Not because she dislikes people, but because she finally values her serenity more than appearances. There's a protective layer that forms with age, a shield built from years of living, giving, and healing. It's not coldness, it's wisdom. You've witnessed how unpredictable people can be, how relationships can shift without warning. So you guard your heart and your energy. You pay attention not only to what people say, but to how you feel after they leave. Experts call this relational exhaustion, when connections drain more than they nourish. It's common among older adults who've endured emotional strain, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It means you've lived deeply and learned deeply. Choosing space now isn't about bitterness, it's about understanding who's truly earned a place in your life. As for conversation, small talk that once seemed harmless now feels empty. In younger years, you might have tolerated chatter that didn't go anywhere, but eventually, you outgrow the need to fill silence. Quiet becomes comforting instead of awkward. Once you discover tranquility, it's hard to trade it for conversations that skim the surface. Henry, 76, used to chat with anyone anywhere, a natural talker, a warm presence. Today, he avoids gatherings where constant conversation is expected. He still cares for people, he just no longer wants to perform socially. He says, "I'm done talking just to avoid silence." He's not isolating himself, he's choosing depth over noise. As emotional energy becomes limited, you become more careful about how you use it. You're no longer interested in impressing others or keeping up appearances. You crave something real, and if you don't find it, a quiet evening alone feels more healing than a table full of chatter. Choosing meaningful company or choosing none at all is not withdrawal. It's intentional living. It's understanding that one genuine conversation is worth more than hours of empty words. There's also the realization that fewer people truly understand you. The world moves faster now. Language changes, values shift, technology reshapes communication. Suddenly, you find yourself in rooms where your voice doesn't land the way it used to. Not because you're irrelevant, but because few take the time to understand your perspective. Ella, 79, once enjoyed talking with younger relatives, sharing stories of raising 5 children while working full-time. Now, she's lucky if they look up from their screens. They aren't trying to be dismissive, they're just distracted. But distraction still creates distance. Over time, silence feels easier than trying to bridge a gap that keeps widening. This isn't loneliness in the usual sense, it's the ache of feeling misunderstood. You may be surrounded by people and still feel unseen. After enough moments of being talked over or brushed aside, Silence becomes a form of protection. This happens quietly, without confrontation. It's not that you've run out of things to say, it's that you've stopped wanting to explain yourself. Another reason you may step back is the fear of becoming a burden. It's a heavy, quiet fear that settles in over time. You don't want to interrupt, inconvenience, or add pressure to the people you love, so you stay quiet, you stay home, you decline help even when you truly need it, not from pride, but from love. Herbert, 84, used to spend every weekend with his daughter's family, but as mobility became harder, he began declining invitations. They have their own lives, he said. I don't want to slow them down. Nobody made him feel unwanted, but the fear alone kept him away. Many older adults understand this feeling deeply. You've spent a lifetime being strong, reliable, the one others leaned on. Now needing help feels unfamiliar. You'd rather sacrifice closeness than feel like a responsibility, even though your loved ones likely don't see you that way at all. Then there's the natural drifting of old friendships. Some relationships don't end, they simply dissolve over the years, not through conflict, but through life reshaping itself. Schedules change, health shifts, interests evolve. One day, you realize the people who once filled your hours now appear only in memories. Sometimes that brings sadness, other times, it brings relief. Victoria, 73, used to walk with her high school friend every week. Those walks slowly stretched apart monthly, yearly, and eventually not at all. Not because of hurt, simply because both women grew in different directions. Some friendships are tied to seasons of life, and when those seasons end, the bond loosens naturally. This shift isn't always a loss. Sometimes it's growth. You begin valuing your time more. You become selective about where you spend your emotional energy. Some conversations that once uplifted you may now feel tiring, and instead of forcing connection, you gently step back. Not from anger, but from self-respect. And finally, one of the most unspoken truths. You learn to genuinely enjoy your own company, not because people disappoint you, but because you finally feel peace within yourself. You no longer crave constant activity. You no longer need validation. Your thoughts, your memories, your quiet moments become enough. James, 82, once the life of every gathering, now finds happiness simply sitting on his porch, watching birds. He laughs when asked if he feels lonely. I've lived a full life, he says. I'm never bored in my own mind. Solitude stops feeling empty and starts feeling nourishing. It becomes a sanctuary, and not something to run from, but something to cherish. You move at your own pace, listen to your own voice, and follow your own rhythm. There's freedom in that. There's wholeness in that. So if you've been pulling away from people, consider this. Maybe what you're seeking isn't isolation, it's alignment. Maybe you're not withdrawing, you're evolving. You're choosing peace, clarity, and meaningful connection over noise, pressure, and emotional strain. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Share in the comments what insight resonated with you and how you plan to carry it forward. Your words matter, and others will find comfort in your story. If this message touched you, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating meaningful content that strengthens and inspires. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.